Some men spend 30 years climbing a ladder, reach the top, and feel nothing. No celebration, no relief, just a quiet, confusing emptiness, and one ugly question they can't shake. Whose ladder was this? You did everything right. You hit the target, and somehow you got to the destination you were told to want, and still felt like a stranger in your own life. That's not a motivation problem. That's something nobody ever warned you about. Here's what makes it dangerous. A borrowed dream doesn't feel borrowed. It feels like yours because you carried it so long you forgot you never actually chose it. Your father handed it to you, or a teacher, a wife, a boss, a screen full of strangers, and you ran with it for years without ever stopping to ask one question that would have saved you all that time. There's a way to find out which dreams are actually yours before you bury another decade in the wrong one. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to walk you through how to look at the goals you're chasing right now and figure out honestly which ones belong to you and which ones got handed to you by somebody else. A few simple questions, pen and paper, no hype, but because before you hand over a dream to 10 years of your life, you better make sure that dream belongs to you. Welcome to The Useful Man, a channel about learning, growing, and staying useful in a world that gets stranger by the day. These are field notes of life, not fantasy life, not privileged life, just real life. These videos are about learning, growing, and becoming more capable in the world around you. Nobody wakes up at 40 and looks in the mirror and says, "You know what? I think I'll chase the wrong life today. I'll pour 10 years into something that was never mine to begin with." Nobody chooses it. That's the part people miss. You don't pick the wrong life off a menu. It gets installed in you, one suggestion at a time, so slowly that you never feel it happening. Your parents suggest something, usually whatever they wished that they'd done, or whatever kept them safe. Your teacher suggests something, usually whatever fit neatly into a system that rewards compliance. Society suggests something, get the degree, get the title, get the house, in the right zip code. Social media suggests something every 3 seconds. And it's always about somebody else's highlight reel dressed up as your inadequacy. Your friends suggest something because misery loves company, and so does the ambition. And none of those people are villains. That's what makes it dangerous. They're not lying to you. Most of them mean well. They're handing you a map they think is good because it's the only map they were ever handed. But here's the thing nobody warned you about. Most borrowed dreams don't arrive with a warning label. They arrive as advice. They show up sounding like care, sounding like wisdom, sounding like the reasonable thing a reasonable person would want. And you nod along and you absorb it. And 10, 15, 20 years later, you're standing in a life you built brick by brick, and you can't figure out why it feels like somebody else's house. A useful man doesn't accept a dream just because it came wrapped in good intentions. He checks the return address before he signs for the package. So how do you know? How do you tell the difference between a dream that's actually yours and one that got installed by everybody else? You can't always tell by looking at it. A borrowed dream and a real one look identical from the outside. Same job, same house, same goal, written on the same piece of paper. The difference isn't the goal, it's how it sits with you. So let's hold up a mirror. And I want you to be honest, because nobody else is listening right now. This is just you and me. The good news is that borrowed dreams usually leave evidence. Not all at once. It's not like a lightning bolt. More like little cracks in the foundation that keep showing up no matter how many times you paint over them. Here's a few of the ones I've seen. Symptom 1. You hit the success and it doesn't feel like anything. You got the promotion, the raise, the thing that you said you wanted. And there was a flicker, maybe for an afternoon. Then nothing. Just a quiet, is that it? That you don't say out loud because you're too embarrassed by it. Symptom 2. You keep moving the goalpost. The number was 100 grand. Then you hit it. And now the number 200. The title was manager. Then you got it. Now it's director. The finish line keeps sliding because the race was never about a finish line. It was about outrunning a feeling. And you can't outrun that. Symptom 3. You can't actually explain why you want it. You can explain that you want it. You just can't explain why. Not without the explanation collapsing into, well, that's just what you're supposed to do. Symptom 4. You're more excited talking about it than doing it. The dinner party version of the dream lights you up. The Tuesday morning version, the actual work, feels like dragging a body across a parking lot. Symptom 5, and this one's the quiet killer. You secretly envy people living completely different lives. Not richer lives, different ones. The guy who walked away from a career to fix boats. The woman who sold everything and moved somewhere nobody knows her name. Some part of you looks at that and feels a pull you don't want to admit to. So here's a clean test for all of it. If somebody asks you why you want a goal, and your answer starts with, because everybody says, you might want to keep digging. Because everybody isn't going to be there at the end. Everybody doesn't pay the price. You do. A useful man doesn't ignore the symptoms just because the diagnosis was inconvenient. He'd rather find out now than 10 years from now. There's an old line about this, and it's old because it's true. You can spend your whole life climbing the ladder, fast, disciplined, never missing a rung, and you get all the way to the top, only to find out that you leaned it against the wrong wall. I've watched it happen more than once. The guy who clawed his way up to manager, then executive, then walked into a corner office he's been gunning for since he was 25, made it. Generally made it. And I watched the life drain out of his face in about 6 months because the office was just a room, the title was just a word, and the thing he thought was waiting at the top wasn't there. The guy who built the business built it from nothing. The kind of thing people write articles about. Worked himself half to death, hit every number, and then sat in a parking lot of his own company at the end of the day, not wanting to go home and not wanting to go back inside. The influencer, and I'll catch heat for this one, who got the followers, got the brand deals, got the life that looks like freedom on a screen, and privately couldn't remember the last time they did anything that wasn't content. Couldn't remember the last time they had an experience instead of capturing it. Now hear me clearly, because this is where people get me wrong. Success is not the problem. Money is not the problem. The corner office, the business, the audience, none of that is the disease. There's nothing wrong with any of it. What was missing wasn't success. What was missing was ownership. Not one of these men sat down at the beginning and asked himself whether the ladder belonged to him. He just saw a ladder everybody else was climbing, assumed up was the right direction, and started climbing as hard as he could. And climbing hard is admirable. Climbing hard up the wrong wall is just an efficient way to waste your one life. A useful man doesn't admire a tall ladder. He checks the wall first, because the climb costs the same either way. and only one of them gets you somewhere you actually want to be. All right, enough diagnosis. Let's do something about it. And like everything else I teach, it's simple, it's cheap, and it requires you to actually do it instead of just nodding along. Grab a piece of paper, not your phone, not an app, not a tablet, good old-fashioned pen and paper. There's a reason, and the reason is this. Screens let you stay slippery, and a paper makes you commit. When it's in ink, you can't quietly edit it in your head when the truth gets uncomfortable. Now, find somewhere quiet, no TV, no notifications, nobody walking through asking, what you doing? Just you and the paper for 15 minutes. Okay? Pick a goal, a real one you're actually pouring time into right now, and run it through these 4 questions out loud. Yes, out loud. Alone in the room like a lunatic. Do it anyway, because saying it out loud strips out all the lies you can hide behind when you only think about it. Question 1. What do I want? Be specific. Not be successful, not be happy. The actual thing. Question 2. Why do I want it? And keep digging past the first answer, because the first answer is usually the rehearsed one. It's the why under the why. Keep going until you hit something that actually is yours, or something that falls apart. Question 3. Who benefits if I achieve it? Write the names down and pay attention to the list. It is full of people who aren't you. A parent you're still trying to impress, an ex you're trying to prove wrong, a crowd of strangers whose approval you'll never actually feel. And question 4, this is the one. This is the whole thing. Would I still want it if nobody ever knew I accomplished it? Would I still want it if nobody ever knew I accomplished it? No announcement, no post, no congratulations, no one, not a single soul ever finds out you did it. Just you with the thing. Do you still want it? If the answer is yes, you'd still grind for it in total silence with zero applause, then it's yours. Keep it. Build your life around it. That goal earned its place. But if the answer is no, if the thing only matters because someone's watching, because someone will be impressed, because someone will finally see it, then you didn't find the goal. You found a borrowed dream wearing a goal's clothes. And now, that's not a failure. That's the most useful thing you'll learn all year. A useful man doesn't keep a goal he can't defend in an empty room. He builds his life on what survives the silence. Let me be clear about this. What I am not saying, because somebody always twists this. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to go blow your life up, abandon your responsibilities, or leave people who count on you to go find yourself on a beach somewhere while the bills pile up. That's not freedom. That's just a different kind of stupid. I'm not even telling you the dream that you're chasing is wrong. Maybe it's exactly right. Maybe you run it through all 4 of those questions and the answer comes back clean and it's yours all the way down. Good. Then climb that ladder like your life depends on it, because it kind of does. And I'm telling you to do it is a check. And I'm telling you to do is check the map before you follow it. For the next 10 years, that's it. That's the whole message. Because the map you're holding got drawn by a lot of people who won't be there at the finish line. Your parents drew part of it. Your teachers drew part of it. Society, the algorithm, their friends, the strangers, they all got a pen at some point. And none of them have to live in the life that the map leads to. You do. So before you hand a dream 10 years of your life, before you give it your time, which is the only thing you can never earn back, never a refund, never get a do-over on, make sure that dream belongs to you. That's all. That's everything. Now go check your map and then go build the right thing. A useful man doesn't spend his one life climbing somebody else's ladder. He makes sure that The dream is his, and then he gives it everything he's got. Thanks for spending some useful time with me. Keep moving forward. Even ugly progress is still progress. I'll catch you on the next one.